Founded in 1847, the Institution of Mechanical Engineers is an independent professional association and learned society representing mechanical engineers and the engineering profession. We asked their CEO, Alice Bunn, to tell us more about their commitment to improving the world through engineering.
Dr. Alice Bunn, Chief Executive of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, according to recent research, the UK may face a shortfall of 1 million engineers by 2030. Why is this, and what impact could it have?
Yeah, wow. Why is this? Well, in a nutshell, it's because engineers are just so important and central to practically all of our everyday lives. I often talk about this as being, engineering's the invisible capability that powers all of our kind of modern living. And I think sometimes that's really obvious, right? So sometimes if you think about manufacturing, if you think about transport, if you think about housing, it's pretty obvious that all these things rely on engineering skills. But there are other ways in which we are absolutely dependent. I mean, think about the recent pandemic. Sure, it was the scientists, the very clever scientists, that were able to understand how vaccines would work, but it was the engineering capability that enabled us to move swiftly into mass production and make sure that we could roll out those vaccines for everyone around the world. So it's really, really important that we address a shortfall, that we preempt a shortfall, and that we make sure that we're putting everything in place to make sure that we really do have the engineers that we need to support our modern living.
Given the prediction of this shortfall, what is the Institution of Mechanical Engineers doing to help ensure the sector has a future-proof workforce?
So we're doing things at every level, cradle to grave. We provide support through primary education, through things like outreach opportunities, secondary education, through work experience programs, through to university and further education. But crucially, we also offer that access to lifelong learning opportunities throughout careers.
Now, you are offering a fantastic array of opportunities, and you mentioned apprenticeship programs. Who would be a good candidate for an engineering apprenticeship?
Well, I'm going to say everyone, of course. But just to, narrow that down a little bit, I think we all know that some of us incline towards a more kind of academic career, and perhaps some of us are more practical. And the real beauty is engineers can be both. We have a phrase that sometimes you're clever with your head and sometimes you're clever with your hands. And often in an apprenticeship route, because it is more practical, it is more hands-on, does tend to attract students who learn through doing, I would put it like that, who enjoy practical tasks. They may or may not be academic, you can be both. You would always need some good math skills, I would say. But they tend to be students that are really interested in problem solving. Working as a team is really important as well. And quite often that can be an attraction of the apprenticeship route because you very quickly get immersed in that sort of team environment. And of course, sometimes you can do this through a university route and sometimes you can do it outside of university too. It's really all about your learning styles, your preferences, and your interest into becoming an engineer or a technician.
What role do mechanical engineers play in helping the UK to meet our 2030 net zero commitment?
The net zero challenge is immense. We talk about it as being the greatest engineering challenge that we have ever faced. So we have a really, really big role to play. In the short term, we will need to accelerate the rollout of those technologies where we know already they will make a contribution to our achieving net zero goals. So thinking about things like wind power, thinking about solar, electric vehicles, heat pumps, batteries, all those things that actually exist already need to be really upscaled, and engineers play a huge part in their delivery and also bringing down their cost. So that's a really immediate challenge for us. The slightly longer term, it will be engineers who will be working to develop new technologies, thinking about advanced storage solutions, thinking about floating offshore wind farms, thinking about perhaps small modular reactors in the nuclear sector. And, one of my personal favorites, maybe even space-based solar power. Who knows? But these are definitely the technologies of the future.
IMechE has recently published Strategy 2030. What can you share about this?
It's a really elegantly simple strategy. We do two things. Either we're all about helping develop and support engineers, enabling them to operate at their absolute best, or we're about drawing on their skills and expertise for the benefit of society as a whole.
Dr. Alice Bunn, Chief Executive of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. Thank you.
Thank you.